once your Pokemon are fully healed up, you want to make sure you go to the Azalea Gym, which can be found in the southwest corner of town. The puzzle here is rather interesting, not too complicated. Basically, there's those 3 spiders there in the first part of it. You step on one of them and it'll cross those little web things. But the catch is, it always has to take a turn if it can. So if you take the middle one, you're going to end up by Bug Catcher Al right here. And he has a level 12 Caterpie and a level 12 Weedle. Why he didn't evolve them to Metapod or Kakuna is really beyond me, but oh well. So that one didn't work. Well, that stinks. But thankfully you're watching this, so you will know exactly which one to take. What you do is, you take the one on the left, and you'll soon see why. The one on the right will just take you to that dead end up there. So you have to turn there, you have to turn there, and you have to turn there. Boom! We're here. Okay, now for the next trainer. This one's a much more difficult fight than the last. I mean, still not, you know, that difficult, but it will prove to be a challenge. Okay, Bug Catcher Benny. He's got a level 7 Weedle. Again, why he didn't evolve it to Kakuna is beyond me. Kakuna. He does have a Kakuna level 9, and then he does have a Beedrill level 12, so he's doing that much right. Just evolving isn't enough. Right. Okay, so that's the first part of the puzzle. Now see this switch there? What that does is that collapses that blue one up there. Now if you don't take that, you actually do not want to flick that blue switch. Or at least that first one, and I'll show you why in a second. You want to end up by these two, Amy and Mimi. Now this is actually the first double battle that you'll need to fight in the game. It's against these twins here. If you're not familiar with how double battles work, basically you send out 2 Pokemon. Each trainer sends out 2 Pokemon at a time, and some attacks hit your partner Pokemon, and some hit both of the opponent's Pokemon, and stuff like that. So that's kind of neat. There's not a lot of those double battles in this, but still kind of fun. So, for example here, if you do collapse that, can you see what will happen? Yep, that's right. You're just going to go straight into this Bug Catcher here. You saved all the Slowpoke? Woo, you're mighty. But my grown-up Pokemon are pretty tough, too. Oh, yeah? We'll find out about that, Bug Catcher Josh. Nah, he just has one Pokemon. It's the Bug Grass-type Paris there. Not too difficult by any means. But it did paralyze Rocky. That stinks. So that is, all the trainers in the gym. I'm going to go heal up really quick, and I'll show you a recap on how to get through the puzzle. Just take the left spider when you first arrive inside. That'll take you right on over here. Then do not flick that blue switch. Take that spider straight ahead of you on over by the twins. You will have to fight them. Then flick this blue switch. This one right there. Yep. Then go back. You'll be led over here to this red switch. Flick that switch, and then you will be led right to the gym leader himself, Bugsy. What's up, Bugsy? Make sure you save your game before you take on Bugsy, because he's actually quite a bit more challenging than in the first generation or the second generation. You know, the original Gold and Silver. Yep, there's Leader Bugsy. Now, he doesn't waste any time. He starts with his most powerful Pokemon right off the bat, a level 17 Scyther. Youch, that's pretty tough. Scyther has a lot of attack, and it's lightning fast, so it's going to hit pretty hard, and it will almost certainly hit before you do. Now, there's one move that Scyther really likes to use that is sort of annoying, and it's sort of an interesting strategy. It's called U-turn, and you'll see it shortly. What it can do first, though, is use Leer on you, which will lower your defense, and then Focus Energy, which will increase the chances of it hitting a critical hit, which you do not want to have happen. Try not to let any of your Pokemon get affected by Leer too many times, because that is not a good thing, and it will mean Scyther will do a lot of damage to you. Scyther has a Citrus Berry attached to it, which means it will heal its hit points by 25% of its max whenever it falls pretty low in hit points. There it is. There's that U-turn. Now what happens is... it gets a critical hit. Yeah, no thanks to that focus energy, darn it. What happens is, Bugsy then gets to switch for another of his Pokemon after using U-turn. The only other two Pokemon he has are Metapod and Kakuna, but since they have higher defensive stats, it oftentimes means that Scyther will avoid getting, you know, the damage from the attacks you were going to use against it. Now what to do against this Metapod? I'm not sure if Mind Games can really handle it on her own, but we'll find out. Yeah, Tackle definitely isn't doing much. I'm going to need a backup plan here, but you know what? I want to show you something, just in case you're one of those types that likes to use status moves. I'm going to use Yawn here. Seems like a good strategy. We'll put this Metapod to sleep while I switch over to my Bayleaf Marriland. You know, that would make sense. Keep it from using Harden because, unfortunately, I think both my moves are physical based. So I really do not want that thing to use Harden too often. I'm going to use Razor Leaf, even though I know it's not very effective. I think it still does more damage than... Ooh, yeah, critical hit nonetheless. It does still do more damage than Tackle. Boring old Tackle. Now see, it has Shed Skin, which heals its status conditions sometimes between turns. I'm going to set up Reflect just to hopefully help reduce the amount of damage that Bugsy's Scyther is going to do, because that thing will hurt a lot, especially with U-turn, because I'm weak to it, and it would not be good. But Reflect can really come in handy against that Scyther if you started with Chikorita. And you now have a Bayleaf. Hopefully you have a Bayleaf by now. If you don't, you gotta start leveling up your Pokemon. Okay, Mind Games grew to level 11. And it wants to learn Water Gun. Excellent. Now it has a move it can sort of, kind of, actually attack with. Sort of. Alright, we will get rid of Growl. It's not really gonna need that. There's that Scyther. Now I'm not gonna switch into my Slowpoke because I really want to take this thing out. I have a bad feeling that it can do a lot of damage to my team if I don't do anything about it. So I'm going to try and just get it out of the way. Oh, how lucky. Another critical hit. But Tackle nonetheless. So that takes Scyther out. You get a bunch of experience. 681 for knocking it out. Rock-type Pokemon are really effective against Bugsy. If you're having difficulty beating him, you can just go catch like an Onix or a Geodude. You gotta train it up quite a few levels before it's useful, but they do really well against any of these bug-type Pokemon. Particularly if you can use like Harden or Screech or something. Just be careful using too many stat-upping moves on yourself, because, you know, Focus Energy has a chance, or it increases the chances of Bugsy getting a critical hit, which will get right through any defensive upgrades you might have done. So just keep that in mind. Alright, the last of this Pokemon here is a level 15 Kakuna. Again, it's more of a defensive tank than an offensive powerhouse. So it should be fairly easy to take down regardless of what you use. But you don't want it to use Harden too often if you're using physical-based attacks. Unfortunately, most all my stuff is physical-based. So that's not good. Let's try to take this thing out of here right away. It's not doing a lot of damage, it just needs to poison me with Poison Sting. That's when it really will add up. Hang in there just a little more. Right, okay, let's tackle this thing. Ha, another critical hit, yeah. There we go, player defeated leader Bugsy. Got 1800 for winning. Whoa, amazing, you're an expert on Pokemon. Okay, you win, take this badge. So you get the Hive Badge as soon as you beat Bugsy. That'll be your second badge. Do you know the benefits of the Hive Badge? Let me think about this. Why don't you tell me, what are the benefits? If you have it, Pokemon over level 30 will be able to obey you, and you can use Cut outside of battle, and you get TM89, which contains that useful U-turn move. That's actually a pretty sweet move for any of your Bug-type Pokemon at this point if they can learn it, because there aren't a lot of good Bug-type attacks at this point. Now, don't make the mistake I just did. See that switch in the corner of Bugsy's area, hit that instead, because that just makes it easier for you to go back. It's like just one switch. I just forgot about that. Whoops. Yeah, so that is Bugsy. Make sure before you head west, you heal up your Pokemon, though. This is really, really important, because you have another tough fight coming up ahead. And that would be against a certain red-hair rival of yours. We'll cover that in the Ilex Forest on the next episode of Pokemon Soul Silver.